Welcome to episode 4 of Ball Striking Masterclass. I'm Kerrod, and today we're going to be talking all about the setup, how positioning your body in the address position before you take that golf club away can really make or break the quality and your ability to get that club returning nicely back onto that ball. So let's get stuck in. So in this video, we're going to talk all about the setup and how to position your body in relation to your stance, the ball position, and the orientation of your upper and lower halves to ensure that you're giving yourself the best chance of solid contact. So let's start with the setup. Ideally, we're going to have our ankles underneath our armpits. So if I'm going to drop this club and just let it hang vertically from my armpit there, you can see that the middle of my ankle is going to be positioned underneath both of those armpits in that position there. From there, what I'm looking for is a slight flare of the toes. This is just going to help some rotation throughout the golf swing and some stability and balance. And then with ball position, as a general rule of thumb, we're looking to have it about one club head inside the lead foot. So the ball position does not really shift throughout the swing relative to your left foot, but depending on the length of the club, you'll either be standing closer and further away, or you'd be standing a little bit narrower for a wedge, or a little bit wider for something like a long iron or a 3-wood. So extending on from that, ball position, one club head inside the lead foot. And then what I would like to see to give yourself, once again, the greatest chance of good quality contact would be to have your upper body and your lower body shifted ever so slightly left towards the target. So you're going to have about 60% of your weight on that lead side. You'll also notice my shoulders have a slight little tilt to them in this position. And the reason being is that my right hand sits lower than my left hand on the grip. And when I do that, that's going to lower my right shoulder, just putting you into this natural position. Now from here, we've got a few reference points. Number one would be from my left ear. If I let this golf club just hang and we just position that down on the ground, you can see that's going to be about the reference line for where I'm going to position the ball. So if you film yourself from face on or you're looking in front of a mirror, what I'd like to see is the ball position be located one club head inside that lead foot, and then your left ear also over the ball. From there, if we shift our pelvis slightly further forward, we should feel a little bit more pressure on that lead side, and this would be a very solid setup position to start from. Extending on from that, where would we position the handle? Well, if I position the handle back, that's going to start lowering my left shoulder. That's going to start putting my grip into a weaker position with my hands more on top, and that's also really going to affect the quality of the strike. So what I do want to see is that the handles press slightly further forward, and most of us have this belt loop one away from where the belt buckle would be. I'd like to see, as a general rule of thumb, the end of that golf club pointing pretty much directly towards that belt loop. So if you pulled that club up into your body, you would make contact with that loop. So extending on from that, you can see that I'm in this position. I'd say this would be a very solid start to how you could then take the golf club away. So from the down the line view, there's also a few things that we would like to see. Number one is extending on from where we would position the ball. I'd like to see the knees, the hips, the shoulders all relatively on line with your target. So parallel left of where your club face was aiming. For example, if my shoulders were closed off, that would encourage me to hit more behind the golf ball, or my shoulders were twisted open, that would encourage me to hit too far in front. So a good solid setup position from the down the line view would see that my knees, my hips, my shoulders, and my forearms would be all relatively in line. If the forearms get too tilted this way, it's going to start to add more tilt to my body, encouraging a behind the ball strike. Or if I tilt too much that way, as you can see, it also affects the shoulders, and that's going to affect the delivery of my club as well. So from the down the line view, keeping it nice and simple, let's ensure that my knees, my hips, and my shoulders are all in one line. The final thing is where we position the handle. If we position the handle too low down to the ground, that's going to affect the lie angle of the golf club and also the shape of the golf swing. Too high up, that's going to induce a little bit too much tension through the wrists. Leaving them in a down cock position, it's going to be difficult to generate any speed. So as a reference or as a rule of thumb, we want to see that the end of the golf club there, that'd be pretty much be pulling directly towards my belt buckle, and that would be a very solid position to start from. The last piece is simply weight distribution. If you close your eyes, what I want you to feel is that you've got all your weight positioned on the front of your laces, not too far forward out on your toes in this position, and definitely not too far sitting back on your heels, because that's really going to affect the way that you can swing the club throughout. So I hope you enjoyed episode 4 of Ball Striking Masterclass. Today we talked all about the setup and how to position your body in the ball in such a way that it's really going to help you with the crispness of those shots. Make sure you subscribe so you get any notifications of any upcoming episodes, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ball Striking Masterclass.